Coming up on Mountain News this morning, a conversation is taking place for one Eastern Kentucky elementary school about the risks energy drinks pose on children. And a bill was signed offering officers more time for on-site training in schools, and administrators are hoping it will shed some light for children.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News this morning.
Good morning and a happy Friday to you, Mountain family. I'm Amelia Lee here with you on this May 16th. We're at 5:30 this morning, and Megan, it is a first alert weather day today. So how should we prepare for that incoming weather ahead?
Well, you need to download that WYMT First Alert Weather app. That's where you'll get the most up-to-date notifications and updates on the forecast. We're watching storms already starting to move into the region. Here's a look as we're going into that live pinpoint Doppler radar towards Danville. That's where we see a storm system with some lightning producing coming towards our region. We'll continue to see rounds of storms this morning, but the highest chance for severe weather will be as we're traveling into those evening hours, going overnight into your Saturday morning. We're keeping an eye on that through the next couple of hours. Current temperatures are in the 60s, already off to a warm start, seeing a lot of cities at that 70-degree mark, 72 in Logan and Louisa, as well as Pikeville, 73 for Prestonsburg, and 75 for Somerset. High temperatures for the day will be in the low to mid 80s. Definitely going to be a warm afternoon and a stormy one. Here's a look at that forecast. We're going through the next couple hours. We'll see those storm chances really picking up throughout the morning hours and again as you're traveling into the evening. Amelia.
Eastern Kentucky advocates joined a virtual conference to share their concerns about potential federal cuts. One doctor at Primary Care Center in Hazard believes it would affect more than just those who receive benefits like SNAP and Medicaid. Advocates say cuts to these programs could leave many Kentuckians without access to basic necessities and without a job.
It really doesn't affect just people who receive Medicaid. These are people who are working and have jobs. If there are no Medicaid funds paying for their jobs, they're out of the job. And I think we look at making a bad situation worse when we start talking about cutting Medicaid for recipients.
Along with SNAP and Medicaid, advocates also shared about potential cuts to LIHEAP, along with the pause made by the Mine Safety and Health Administration towards the enforcement of the silica dust regulation to prevent black lung disease. A trial date was set for one of the men charged in a deadly carjacking case in Jackson County. Michael Edwards was arrested in that case along with Richard Markham. It happened last year when Edwards was accused of carjacking a woman and running over her with her truck, resulting in her death. Edwards' jury trial date is set for February 17th of next year. He also has a pretrial conference on August 5th. He remains in jail on a $500,000 cash bond. A Martin County man faces charges after being accused of pointing a gun at his wife. Martin County Sheriff's deputies responded to the incident in the Inez community on Monday. When they arrived, the woman told police she was scared for her life when George Spence was reportedly pushing her around. Then the woman went outside to get in a car. Spence reportedly pointed a gun through the windshield. He was charged with assault, wanton endangerment, and unlawful imprisonment. In Jessamine County, police have arrested a suspected drug trafficker. Brandon Graves is charged with first-degree trafficking of both fentanyl and cocaine. He was under investigation by the Nicholasville Police Department Drug Enforcement Unit for the last several weeks. That drug unit got a search warrant, found Graves to be in possession of 335 grams of cocaine, 111 grams of fentanyl, and nearly $19,000 in cash. A church fire in Cable County, West Virginia is being investigated as arson. The state fire marshal says crews fought a small fire in a shed at the Brighter Day Ministry Church in Lesage on Wednesday. 2 hours later, crews were called out again for a fire in the church and the adjacent fellowship hall. The fire marshal says both fires were believed to be intentionally set. Anyone with information is asked to call the West Virginia Arson Hotline at 1-800-233-3473. The West Virginia Board of Education voted to take control of Nicholas County schools, and Fire Superintendent Terrence Beam and Assistant Superintendent Kelly Weitzel. It comes after the board says various issues were discovered during a special circumstance review, including the hiring of a registered sex offender. Former Fayette County Superintendent Terry George will fill in as the interim superintendent for that school district. Kentucky State Police have a new forensic lab director. Jeremy Triplett was introduced as the new director yesterday. He'll oversee the state's 6 crime labs, and he actually used to manage the one in Frankfort. Triplett worked with KSP's forensics division for 24 years. West Virginia Governor Patrick Morrisey signed a bill aiming to give police officers more time in schools for on-site training while promoting safety. The bill allows law enforcement officers to complete up to 8 hours of in-service training every year in a school safety program. Wayne High School principal Sarah Stapleton says it's important for students to see law enforcement in a different light.
Students see them that they're not the bad guy. They're not going to always be arresting you, that they're there to actually help us and to help make right decisions and be there on the front end of things.
With the possibility for officers training on site, Stapleton hopes first responders will learn the layout of their local schools in case of an emergency. The House bill was officially signed into law last month, but will not go into effect until July 10th. A new policy at one Eastern Kentucky elementary school is sparking a bigger conversation about energy drinks in children. WYMT's Caroline Mueller spoke with school officials and a pediatrician about the reason for the ban and the risks these drinks might pose.
Energy drinks, brightly colored, heavily marketed, and now banned at Robinson Elementary. Principal Jamie Fugit says the decision came after teachers noticed students showing signs of distraction and discomfort in class.
We had a lot of students who were bringing them in, and it was just leading to a lot of maybe disruption in class, leading to kids not being in a suitable condition to learn.
He says this is an issue that has picked up within the last couple of years, and after doing some research into the ingredients, the numbers stood out.
We were just concerned, you know, the amount of caffeine in an energy drink is about 5 to 6 times more than it will be in a soda.
To put that into perspective, one 12-ounce energy drink can pack as much caffeine as this 6-pack of Coke combined. Doctors say that amount of stimulation is too much for developing brains and bodies.
Pediatrician Molly O'Rourke says the short-term effects can include panic attacks, stomach issues, and heart palpitations, while the long-term risks go even deeper.
It can actually cause some cognitive delays, because if your brain is always needing the caffeine to go through things, to be able to process things, when you're not on the caffeine, your brain's not going to work as well.
She says these drinks may boost energy temporarily, but often lead to a hard crash, and in time, more serious consequences.
Long term, it can lead to heart disease. It can actually lead to heart attacks. It can lead to bleeding ulcers, long-term damage to the stomach. So really significant amount of use can be very, very dangerous in anyone, let alone a developing person.
The school posted the policy online, asking parents to help encourage healthier options like water or juice instead.
We haven't had any parents who have contacted us with concerns about that. We've not had any students upset. Our community has been real supportive over it.
Dr. O'Rourke says conversations at home are just as important and encourages families to talk honestly about why energy drinks are not meant for kids in a way that works for their family. In Perry County, Caroline Mueller, WYMT Mountain News.
One recommendation from Dr. O'Rourke is using water flavoring to find a healthier alternative that they enjoy the taste of. Folks visiting Lake Cumberland this summer might have an easier time getting around after a 6-month project just finished. Yesterday, a ribbon was cut signaling completion of an $8.6 million project on the Fishing Creek Bridge on Kentucky 80 between Somerset and Nancy. That bridge was first constructed in 1951, about the time the lake was formed, but was in need of major repairs to its deck. Officials say the project modernized the structural components while preserving its historical integrity.
as often happens when we get into infrastructure such as this, they found that there was greater deterioration in the floor beams and more than anticipated. And it was responsible and forward-thinking decision was made to replace those beams.
Officials say there is still some minor work ongoing underneath the structure, but traffic will be able to flow freely once again, just in time for the busy summer lake season. A paving project is underway on Kentucky Route 716, known as Summit Road in Boyd County. You can expect one-lane flag traffic on 716 between the US 60 and Kentucky 5 intersections. Paving is expected to finish up around May 23rd, but road work schedules could change as well because of bad weather. Drivers are asked to slow down in work zones and to be aware of workers and equipment while driving. It's 5:40 and it's official. Queen Bee made her way to Chicago with Cowboy Carter in tow and continues to break records.
And we are tracking strong to severe storms today.